Buckle up. Get ready for a deep dive into the roller coaster that was September 28th, 2024.
This is one for the books. Seriously.
We're talking goals galore, upsets that'll make your jaw drop, and just when you thought you'd seen it all, some spicy transfer news courtesy of Fabrizio Romano and the Foot Oga Daily.
Let's just say, if you blinked, you missed it.
First up, a performance that'll be etched in Premier League history. Cole Palmer, 4 goals in the first half for Chelsea.
4. I mean, that's practically unheard of.
This is Palmer's first season with Chelsea.
Fresh off a transfer, yeah. And bam, instant legend. I mean, to pull that off in any league is impressive. But on the Premier League stage, that's a career maker.
Absolutely. And speaking of making statements, Arsenal fans, how about Gabriel Martinelli? Back with a bang, a goal, and an assist in the same match.
His first goal since March, if I'm not mistaken. And it wasn't just any goal. It was...
A beauty.
Yeah, exactly. The timing, the technique, everything. Talk about a message. A clear sign that he's back and ready to make a difference for Arsenal.
This could be the fuel they need for a real title push. But let's be honest, the upset of the day has to go to Osasuna. Taking down Barcelona at Camp Nou, 4-1. That's unbelievable.
Unthinkable. I mean, Barcelona under Hansi Flick, they've been an absolute wall defensively.
You're telling me.
No one expected Osasuna to score, let alone put 4 past them on their home turf. Gotta wonder, was this a tactical slip-up from Flick? An off day for the entire squad? I mean, these things happen.
It makes you think, right?
It does. Makes you think, is there a crack in the Barcelona armor?
Right. Fascinating to see how they'll bounce back from this one. Now, before we get too caught up in La Liga drama, let's jump over to Turkey, where we've got Yusuf Yazici making a move to Olympiacos. The deal with Adam Onis fell apart, and, well, Yazici it is. Phil, so what's this guy all about?
Yazici, a Turkish international, known for his technical abilities, real playmaker. He's got that vision, sees the passes others miss and has the skills to deliver. Honestly, this move to Olympiacos could be huge for him, a chance to really shine.
Now, while all this was going on, Liverpool quietly climbed their way to the top of the Premier League.
Quietly? Yeah. They're roaring. Okay, maybe not so quietly. But yeah, top of the table. It's early days, of course.
It's never too early for a bit of title talk.
Right. And listen, they've certainly got the talent, the drive, the manager. Liverpool are serious contenders.
Absolutely. Oh, and we can't wrap up this deep dive without giving a shout out to Victor Osimhen. 3 assists and a goal for Galatasaray.
Unplayable. He was everywhere. Assisting, scoring. The man was a one-man show. I mean, if he keeps up this level of performance, we could be looking at a future Golden Boot winner.
Absolutely incredible. So there you have it, folks. Cole Palmer etching his name in Premier League history. Gabriel Martinelli's comeback. Osasuna's shocking victory over Barcelona. A Turkish transfer to keep an eye on. Liverpool's rise to the top. And Osimhen's incredible performance. September 28th, what a day.
And to think, this is just the beginning. The talent on display this season is unreal. These young players are setting the bar high, pushing the limits. It makes you wonder, are we witnessing a new era of football, an era where records are made to be broken? It's a question we'll be asking all season long. Buckle up, folks. It's going to be a wild ride. Whoa. Okay, anyone else feeling like they ran a marathon just watching yesterday's Premier League matches?
I know, right? Talk about an action-packed day.
Seriously, so much to unpack, which is why we're diving right into the Athletic FC's Football Roundup. Get ready, because we are going deep on this one.
Let's do it.
First things first, we have to talk about Haaland. Everyone had their eyes glued to their screens, wondering, could he actually do it? 6 games in, 6 goals.
It was electric, wasn't it? The tension was unreal. And, for context, scoring in 6 straight to start a Premier League season, it's practically unheard of. We'd be mentioning his name alongside legends like Shearer and Henry.
Exactly.
Right.
We're talking about a level of consistency that is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's move on to another match that had everyone buzzing, Newcastle versus Man City. That 0-0 draw, let me tell you, that was not the snooze fest some people might think it was.
Not even close. Newcastle came to play. They were aggressive. They were hungry, Gordon and Gvardiol, with those goals. It really highlights how much Newcastle has transformed under Eddie Howe. They are not afraid to go head-to-head with the top dogs anymore.
Right, and that's exciting to see. This isn't the Newcastle we used to know, the one content with, just scraping by.
Yeah.
This team's looking dangerous.
Absolutely. Now, I know we don't want to get too bogged down in controversy, but did you happen to catch that Norwich Derby match?
Oh, you mean the Borja Sainz goal that had everyone screaming at their TVs? How could I forget?
Right. That out-of-bounds call or non-call, depending on who you ask, was about as close as it gets. It really makes you think about VAR.
Seriously.
Yeah,
It's supposed to make things clearer, but sometimes it feels like it just adds another layer of debate, you know?
100%. It's a tough one, and there's no easy answer. It'll be interesting to hear what the fans think.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about a team that knows a thing or two about winning, even when it's not pretty. Liverpool. I'm talking about you.
Ah, the art of winning ugly. You gotta respect it.
Right. They might not have been firing on all cylinders, but they still got the job done.
That's that Jurgen Klopp magic for you. He's instilled this incredible never-say-die attitude in that team. Konaté was an absolute wall in defense, and Salah, well, Salah always finds a way, doesn't he?
He really does. And you know me. I'm a sucker for those moments that remind us why we love this game.
Yeah.
Like Tomas Soucek's celebration after that West Ham goal.
Oh, man, the pure emotion. You could just feel the release of tension, the joy. It was contagious.
Totally. Those are the moments that stick with you. And for me, that's what it's all about. The passion, the drama, the incredible skill, and sometimes, yeah, even a little bit of controversy.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So, after a weekend like that, what Premier League storylines have you hooked? What are you most excited to see play out this season? Hit us up on social media and let us know.
And hey, don't sleep on those underdogs. Remember what Leicester City did a few years back? This league is full of surprises, and I, for one, am ready for more. All right, football fans, buckle up. We're diving headfirst into all the buzzworthy stories that have everyone talking today, Sunday, September 29th. If it was trending on X, we're breaking it down right here, right now.
Love it. Let's do it.
We're talking about the highs, the lows, and everything in between. And let me tell you, there's some serious drama unfolding both on and off the pitch.
Oh, absolutely. The beautiful game never disappoints on that front.
Speaking of drama, Frenkie de Jong really let loose this week, and honestly, who can blame him? He kind of went off script, saying that his decision to delay surgery wasn't about the money, but more about the mental toll of dealing with another ankle injury.
Yeah, I think he really wanted to set the record straight. It's easy for fans and commentators to just see the business side of football, but imagine the pressure he was under those rumors about him choosing a contract over his health. Tough spot.
Definitely a tough spot, especially when you're talking about a recurring injury like that.
Exactly. Recurring injuries are tricky, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing to rehab your body, but your mind starts playing tricks on you, too. Every time you step back on the field, there's that doubt.
It's that fear of, is it going to happen again? I've been there. Even just playing pickup games,
100%. And when you're performing at that level with millions watching, that pressure is amplified. Speaking of pressure, how about Harry Kane? That potential ankle injury had Bayern Munich sweating bullets.
Talk about a nail-biter. The relief on their faces when the tests came back negative, you could see it a mile away.
I bet. They've invested a lot in Kane, hoping he'll be the missing piece of the puzzle. A major injury this early in the season could have been a disaster. It's like he just got there, you know? It takes time to adapt.
New team, new league, new pressures. It's a lot to handle.
Absolutely, and the expectations are sky high. Everyone wants to see him score goals from day one.
Well, on the topic of managing expectations, Erik ten Hag over at Manchester United seems to be taking a very zen approach, shall we say. He's all about patience, even with the pressure cooker of those top-tier competitions.
Love to see it. It's a welcome change of pace from the win-now mentality that dominates football. He seems to get that building a dynasty takes time. It's like planting a seed, right? You can't rush the process. You nurture it, you give it time, and eventually you reap the rewards.
And who knows more about patience than a Manchester United fan these days, am I right? But on a more serious note, it does make you think about the bigger picture,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything is so instant these days. Instant results, instant gratification. But some things, the best things, they take time.
Like a fine wine or aged cheese.
Exactly. Sometimes the longer you wait, the better it gets.
Well, speaking of things that just get better with time, can we talk about Lionel Messi for a second? The man just keeps defying expectations.
Seriously, 841 career goals. It's mind-boggling. He scored his latest just yesterday, by the way.
He's like a fine wine, an aged cheese, and a perfectly aged steak, all rolled into one.
And the craziest part is, he makes it look effortless. The way he weaves through defenders, it's like he's playing a different sport.
He's in a league of his own, for sure.
No doubt. It's like witnessing history every time he steps on the pitch.
Absolutely incredible. And, thinking about all these stories, it really hits home how much pressure these athletes are under. The mental toughness it takes to perform at that level, it's amazing.
The whole other ball game, right? The physical demands are one thing, but the mental game, that's what separates the good from the great.
Couldn't agree more. And with that, we'll leave you to ponder that thought. What goes through your mind when you see an athlete pushing their limits? How does their resilience inspire you in your own life? Think about it. We'll be back next week with more incredible stories from the world of football. Buckle up, folks. It's been one heck of a weekend in football, and wouldn't you know it, we've got a mountain of insights to unpack, straight from the minds at the Athletic FC, of course, ready to dig in.
Always up for a good deep dive. Let's do it.
Perfect. All right, so first up, Barcelona. They took a tumble this weekend, a 4-2 loss to Osasuna. Not exactly the result that their fans were hoping for. Hansi Flick even chimed in, called it squad challenges. Sounds a little like coach speak to me. What's the real deal there? What's he really trying to say?
Well, reading between the lines a little bit, it's about the system, isn't it? Barcelona, they're all about that possession-based football. But that takes incredible teamwork and synchronization between the players, especially with rotation. And when you lose 4 captains, 4 leaders who embody that system, it's like pulling bricks out of a Jenga tower. The whole thing starts to get a little wobbly.
Yeah, that's not good, especially right after a transfer window. You're trying to bring in new players, figure out the chemistry. So is this just a case of needing better backups, or is there something more going on here?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest.
Yeah.
Quality backups are key, but it goes a little deeper than that. See, he's got this really specific style, and it takes players who are, tailor-made for it. It's not just about filling in the gaps. It's about finding those pieces that fit perfectly into his puzzle. Barcelona, they might look good on paper, but how many of those players truly get Xavi's game plan? That's the million-dollar question.
That's what's got their fans sweating, I bet. Speaking of nail-biting finishes, let's talk about Arsenal. Those poor fans are watching their team rack up all the stats, except the one that matters, the score. Their match against Leicester, textbook example. They had possession like you wouldn't believe. More shots, more corners, the whole shebang. And they walked away with absolutely nothing. How do you explain that?
It's the XG dilemma, my friend. Expected goals, right? It basically tells you how likely a team is to score based on the chances they create, like a penalty. That's a high XG, high chance of scoring. Arsenal, they keep getting into those high XG situations, creating fantastic opportunities, but the ball just won't go in.
So they're doing everything right, except actually putting the ball in the net. That's got to be brutal for a fan.
Oh, absolutely. Tactically, they're sound. Breaking through defenses, getting into dangerous areas. But then it's like they hit a wall. Are they overthinking it? Rushing their shots? Is it a composure thing? Lack of that killer instinct? Those are the questions Arteta needs to answer. Because at the end of the day, beautiful football doesn't mean much if you can't finish.
Well, someone who clearly knows how to finish is Cole Palmer. 2 goals and an assist in his last 3 games. The kid is on absolute fire. Move over, Haaland. There's a new name on the block, right?
You know what's really exciting about Palmer? It's not just the talent. It's the decision-making. Remember that goal against Luton? Gets the ball in tight, could have easily passed it off, but no. He takes a touch, sees the opening, and curls it right into the top corner. That's a young player with ice in his veins, and that's what separates the good from the great.
That's a great point. And speaking of young players having a moment, how about Pavlovic? That screamer he scored for Leverkusen against Bayern, that was something else. And while we're on the topic of that match, a 1-1 draw might not sound like must-see TV, but trust me, there's a lot going on beneath the surface.
Oh, absolutely. It was a tactical chess match.
Yeah.
Leverkusen went in with a plan, sit back, absorb the pressure, and hit Bayern on the counter. It's a high-risk, high-reward strategy against a team like Bayern, but for a while there, it looked like it might just work. And then you have that Pavlovic goal. Pure magic. Completely shifted the momentum.
Proof that sometimes the most exciting stories are the ones you don't see coming.
Yeah.
Which brings us nicely to Newcastle. They showed some real grit against Man City. Might not have gotten the win, but the spirit they showed, especially from Anthony Gordon, that's got to give Eddie Howe something to smile about.
Gordon was immense. The way he pressed, took on defenders. He set the tone for the whole team. They were relentless, refused to back down, even against the champions. The question is, can they bottle that energy and bring it every single week? That's what separates the contenders from the pretenders, and it'll be interesting to see if Newcastle can step up to the challenge.
Wow, just one weekend of football and so much to process. We saw giants stumble, stars rise, and tactical battles that would make Sun Tzu proud. Just goes to show, in football, like in life, expect the unexpected.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of this sport. You never know what's going to happen next. Who's going to crack under pressure? Who's going to rise to the occasion? We'll be here to break it all down. Until next week, folks, the drama continues.
It never ends. See you next time. All right, buckle up because we're diving headfirst into the Foot Oga Daily from September 29th.
Deadline Day Live has been busy, let me tell you. This is juicy stuff.
Juicy's right. Fans are going to eat this up. We've got potential mega deals, clubs playing chess, not football.
Oh, absolutely. And enough drama to keep a whole season interesting.
Let's kick things off with everyone's favorite spending spree enthusiasts, Liverpool.
Go on.
Deadline Day Live has them linked with not one, but two attacking threats. Karim Adeyemi from Dortmund and Merlin Roll, who's currently pulling the strings over at Freiburg. Two very different players. What's the thinking here?
It's a really interesting one, isn't it? On the surface, you've got Adeyemi, pure pace, directness, classic Liverpool, right?
Right.
But then you bring in Roll, and he's a different beast entirely. Technically gifted, loves to pick a pass, the kind of midfielder who can dictate the tempo of a game.
So is this Klopp thinking about a change of style?
Could be. Could be. Maybe he's looking to add a new dimension to that attack, make them less predictable.
Fascinating stuff. But Liverpool aren't the only ones with their eyes on multiple prizes. It wouldn't be a transfer window without a little Manchester rivalry, would it?
Oh, never. What have we got this time?
Both United and City are reportedly interested in Jeremie Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen.
Ah, no, that's a good one. Frimpong's stock is rising rapidly. He's exactly the kind of fullback those top clubs covet.
So who needs him more? Ten Hag's United still rebuilding?
Right.
Or Pep City potentially looking to the future?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? For United, he'd be an instant upgrade, a sign of their ambition. But City, they think long-term, maybe they see him as Walker's successor.
It's going to be a fascinating battle to watch unfold. And while those two fight it out, there's another player drawing attention from even further afield, Crystal Palace's Marc Guéhi.
Oh, he's hot property right now.
Property is right. Newcastle, Liverpool, even Manchester United again, they're all sniffing around.
And you can see why. Guéhi's the modern center back. Strong, reads the game well, but comfortable on the ball too.
Who needs him most, though?
Liverpool's defense isn't getting any younger, but don't underestimate Newcastle's newfound wealth.
Speaking of defenders in demand, Arsenal's making it clear they won't be bullied. Inter Milan came calling for Takehiro Tomiyasu,
Really?
but the Gunners seem determined to hold on to him.
That's a statement, isn't it? He's clearly a crucial part of Arteta's plans. A manager like Arteta doesn't let a player like that go easily.
Maybe it's a sign of the times. Holding on to your best players is just as important as bringing new ones in.
Absolutely. You build a team around a solid core.
Manchester City might have something to say about that, though. Rodri's injuries got them eyeing up Torino's Samuele Ricci.
Interesting, isn't it? How short-term needs can shape long-term plans.
Exactly.
Ricci's a good prospect, no doubt, but he's not the finished article. Not like Rodri.
So is this a stopgap signing or a sign of things to come?
Only time will tell, but it'll be fascinating to see how it plays out.
And finally, we have to talk about Real Madrid. They're like that friend who always has to one-up you.
What have they done now?
They're apparently in for not one, but two right-backs. Trent Alexander-Arnold from Liverpool and Diogo Dalot from Manchester United.
Well, they do need to rejuvenate that squad. Bringing in young blood, especially at fullback, makes a lot of sense.
Are they seriously in for both players, though, or is this a classic Real Madrid power move?
It's hard to say. Alexander-Arnold's a generational talent, but Dalot's no slouch either. Maybe it comes down to availability. Maybe it's about sending a message.
And just to wrap things up, we have a story that's as much about balance sheets as it is about the beautiful game.
Oh, this should be good.
Barcelona's offered Frenkie de Jong a rather unusual deal. They'll pay his deferred wages, but only if he leaves the club.
Wow. That's something else. It's no secret Barcelona's finances are a bit, shall we say, creative.
It's a bit.
Okay, well, they're in a tough spot, that's for sure. But this puts de Jong in a difficult position, too.
It does.
Does he stay at a club that clearly doesn't see him as indispensable? Or does he walk away with at least what he's owed?
That's the dilemma, isn't it? Well, that was a roller coaster. It's amazing how quickly things change in the transfer market.
It really is. One minute you're linked with a player, the next you're moving on to the next target. And who knows what the financial cost will be by the end of it all. It makes you think, are we reaching a point where these transfer fees are unsustainable?
It's a question worth asking, that's for sure.
It really is.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
See you next time.